You are looking at a 1976 C3 Corvette Stingray. The color of this car is classic white with Firethorn red leather interior. The car has 99,013 original miles. You are looking at an original unmolested Corvette. It has been garage kept here in sunny Florida and has only been driven on nice sunny days. It has new battery cables, a new starter motor, new brakes, new power steering rack, new driver's side power window motor, has very good tires with good tread, it has a rebuilt carb, and has many other parts that we'll mention in this video. This is a numbers matching all original Corvette. The power lights work and it has original factory air conditioning. However, it is not working at the current time. The car has a slow transmission leak, but as you can see, it doesn't affect the drivability. This car even has the original owner's manual. The current owner has owned this car for over 6 years and is believed to be the third owner of it. For the 1976 year, there's only 46,558 Corvettes built. This particular Corvette has the ZQ3 350-inch cubic V8 with 180 horsepower 4-barrel carburetor. Being that this car is in classic white, there is only 10,674 of these cars made. Vehicles with Firethorn red leather only had 8,259 made. The wheelbase is 98 inches with an overall length of 185.2 inches. The overall width is 69 inches and an overall height of 48 inches. The ground clearance is a mere 4.5 inches. This car is equipped with an 18-gallon fuel tank. It has HEI electronic ignition from the factory. It has 11 3/4-inch hydraulic 4-wheel disc brakes. It has full independent front and rear suspension. It has standard posi traction. This 1976 Corvette has the last 3 digits stamped to the VIN CKX, which entails that it is the 350 cubic inch 180 horsepower V8 with 8.51 compression with an automatic transmission and a 4-barrel carburetor. The engine in this Corvette is an overhead valve V8 with a cast iron block. The brake horsepower of this vehicle is 180 horsepower at 4,000 RPM and 270 foot-pound of torque at 2,400 RPM. The engine has hydraulic valve lifters and a Rochester M4MC fuel supply system. This car came standard with posi traction and recirculating ball steering. The 1976 models of the Corvette featured a steel floor panel shielding the catalytic converter exhaust. These steel floor panels weighed less than the previous fiberglass floor and reduced interior noise levels. The horsepower rose to 180 horsepower for the base L48 engine, which is equipped in this car. To further reduce cabin noise, cowl induction was dropped in favor of the air cleaner duct over the radiator, picking up outside air from the front of the car, thus reducing wind turbulence at the base of the windshield. The hood was carried over with its cowl vent grill and induction system opening becoming non-functional. A new rear nameplate for the rear bumper cover was introduced, eliminating the individual Corvette letters used since 1968. The 4-spoke steering wheel, although smaller, did provide extra room for entry and exit. The steering wheel is color keyed for the interior. Car and Driver recorded the 6.8 second and the 0 to 60 times in both the L48 and the L82 4-speed equipped 1976 Corvettes. Summarized by Car and Driver, the Corvette was a big hit. One area these cars are prone to rot is near the cowl by the windshield wipers, where the previous owner installed some screen which has cut down that issue, where this car is very solid.
So things you should know about this particular Corvette is that I had the steering mechanisms all redone, the hydraulics, which is a common problem with this year of Stingray. All that's been redone. The front brakes that inherently had a problem in these years. All that's been redone. It does have a leaking, I believe, a transmission seal that needs to be redone. I just keep putting transmission fluid in it, and you could do that indefinitely, but that's something that would have to be addressed. There's a gas smell. Sometimes if you fill the tank to the tippy top, I just never fill it to the tippy top, solves that problem. But the engine is all numbers matching, all original. Let's take a look. So another way that this tells you that this is the great American sports car is that the hood lifts the way a sports car should, and that is towards the front of the car. And this particular engine is all original. The only thing that is that is not a part of it is the original catalytic converter apparatus. But it's all numbers matching and unmolested, this engine. It has factory air. It just needs to be hooked up and gone over. I never did that, and it's ready to have that repair done to it. But another thing I've done is replace the wiper motor and the passenger or the driver's side electric window motor, which is a pretty difficult job. I've probably owned this about 6 or 7 years now. I believe I'm the third owner. It's spent many of those years in Florida, so we'll call it a Florida Corvette. Although I believe it was purchased in Pennsylvania, but I believe it spent most of its life in an airplane hangar up there and never ventured out in the salt or the bad weather. So basically, it's a Florida Corvette. I think you could find a nicer 1976 Corvette, but not for what I'm asking for this, under $10,000. I dare you to try to find a nicer one under $10,000. Good tires. Both headlights work well. A big problem on these Corvettes is these pop-up headlights stopped working because it works off a vacuum system off the engine. And there's actually like a container in here that I guess creates the vacuum. And if that container rusts out or develops a leak, then these lights won't come up. And so if you ever see them for sale or around and this light is permanently popped up, then you know it's got a problem with the retractable headlights. This particular Corvette is, as Kyle stated, the Firethorn red leather interior and the style of the interior. So when I was looking at Corvettes 6, 7, 8 years ago, I had a choice between this and the 80-81 body style, which was basically the same body style, but it had a rear window that was kind of like a hatchback instead of the straight up and down. And that I kind of liked, but the selling feature that I really liked these years is the bezel of the speedometer and the tach. In the 1980-81 models, it had a very flat faced dashboard that kind of looked like other cars of that era, and I just wasn't in love with it. The tunnel where the gear shift was too was like a light cardboard type material, I thought, and it was kind of coming apart a little bit in the model that I was driving. The dashboard was just flat and didn't have a lot of character. And when I went to look at this one, I just love a white car and I love a red interior. And the way the bezels looked of the tachometer and the speedometer, I fell in love with it. I was like, this is the one. One of the first things I did when I bought this car is I had the carburetor rebuilt. This is one of 46,558 Corvettes made in the 1976 model year. And like I said before, I challenge you to find a nicer one, original example under $10,000.